Welcome in Chicago. Welcome into Chi-Town Weekly. Thank you so very much for spending some time on this cold and wintry and snowy, Monday evening. Let's not think about the weather for a minute, shall we? Let's have some fun talking some sports tonight. The Bulls, well, they're kind of doing Bulls things, but Zach Lavine and Kobe White sure looked good last week against the Pelicans. Is this a blueprint for the future for this team? Let's talk about that a little bit. Plus, it might be the middle of February and cold and yucky out here, but baseball is back. The Cubs and White Sox are headed for Arizona for the start of spring training. Let's give an early season look at both sides of town and what we might expect to see from the baseball teams this season. And then finally, the Blackhawks, they just keep continuing to outperform and out-hustle and figure out ways to win hockey games. Let's dive into why a little bit, and then let's also talk about, can this continue, or is all this really just a mirage? We'll talk about that and more here on Chi-Town Weekly on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And once again, thank you everybody for taking time out of your week to talk about some Chicago sports here with me on Chi-Town Weekly. We'll get some of the preliminary stuff out of the way. First of all, thank you guys for being patient. Those of you listening live, I was having some technical difficulties getting the show started. It just didn't want to my computer system just didn't want to up and load the Spreaker program, so we got started a little bit late, but that's okay. We can keep rolling along here. Speaking of Spreaker, if you are listening live, feel free, log on in there into the chat, and let's have some fun back and forth. Hello, Taryn. Hello, Marcus. I see those guys already in the chat room. Thank you guys for logging in. Again, if you're listening live in Spreaker, it is free to make a username. Just log on in, hop onto the chat, and we'll have some fun. All right, as always, let's get some of the preliminary stuff out of the way. We are sponsored still here on IE Sports Radio. Legacy Financial. Last year was a tough year. However, staying positive, keeping your faith, and continuing to work hard is the goal. If you're in a financial struggle at the moment and you need some help, or if you're doing well and you want to get to the next level, either way, give them a call. Also, if you're looking for a new opportunity to work for yourself and earn more money part-time, give them a call. You can call AO at 510-928-2104 to book your appointment today. Andrew and AO are just two people on a mission to help families build a legacy. Follow them on Twitter at legacy_uncut or on Instagram at sims_uncut. Mom is Always Right Media. Are you feeling overwhelmed with schoolwork? Those essays keeping you up at night? Don't lose sleep, just pick up the phone. Mom is Always Right Writing Agency will give you quality essays, and we always make our deadlines. Sleep soundly knowing we are on the job. For more information, call 626-653-3649. It Goes Down in the PM. Make sure you check out the new episode of It Goes Down in the PM, brought to you by Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. Coffee After Dark. Don't miss the next chapter of your favorite love story. Check out the Season 2 premiere of Coffee After Dark, brought to you by Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. And finally, the Sports Rundown. Are you a sports fan but have too much going on in your life these days to keep up with the 24/7 sports news cycle? Or maybe you are new to sports and want to understand the nuances better. If so, then the Sports Rundown is for you. We are a new podcast that gives you basic professional and collegiate sports news, stats, tidbits, and fun facts by the time you get to work, start that second cup of coffee, or finish walking the dog. Enough information to make you dangerous while talking about current sporting events, and we will teach you something fun along the way, like about mascots, uniforms, history, feel-good stories, and sports rules. We even cover the Premier League. New episodes drop Monday and Friday mornings, so come give them a listen. Thank you to all of our sponsors once again this week. Ways to follow along with IE Sports and with this show in particular. IE Sports, we are on the major social platforms, Twitter at IE Sports Radio, Instagram at IE Sports Radio, Facebook, search IE Sports Radio, or just go to our website, iesportsradio.com. And then you can follow along with this show on Twitter at IESRC, or you can follow along with my personal feed at Adam_Karnick. And hopping into the chat along with us tonight is Davidson Crooks. What's good? Hey, Davidson. I tell you what's not good has been the weather. Oh, my goodness, all the snow and cold and yuck. You guys in California and Tennessee don't have to deal with that. I'm not envious of you on that. There's a lot of things I love about living in the Midwest. Snow and cold are not one of them. Of course, I know this storm is hitting everybody, so I hope everybody's staying safe and doing what they can. All right, but enough about that. Let's get into some sports. Let's kick off this evening with some Bulls talk. So last week, the Bulls made some history. Specifically, Zach Lavine and Coby White made some history. Yeah, I see Davidson chimes in. They've got an ice storm there in Bama. Yeah, and I know you guys really aren't used to dealing with that either, so I hope you guys are staying safe with that. We're going to be getting some snow here in the next few hours. We're ready for it, but I know down by you guys, you're not used to dealing with that, so I hope you guys are safe down there in Bama. So Zach Lavine and Coby White made some history last week against the Pelicans. They became the first teammates in NBA history to combine. Each one of them had 8 threes in that game last night. They hit 17 of them total. Zach Lavine finished with 46 points. Coby White finished with 30 points on the night. The Bulls also in that game hit a franchise record 25 threes in that game. So some good shooting from the Bulls. Not always something we've seen from them, but a good sign of things to come. And I wanted to talk about Lavine specifically there for a minute. Zach Lavine is on a tear this season. The numbers he is having a career year right now for the Bulls. His points per game is at a career high. His shooting percentage overall, he's hitting nearly 52% of his shots, career high. 43% from three, high. He's got a career high in assists. The man has taken a huge step forward this season with the Bulls. I know the All-Star break is coming up for the NBA, and Lavine is being pushed by the team to be their All-Star representative. He basically was the team's representative last year in the three-point shooting competition. He should definitely make the All-Star team for the Bulls. He's in the top 10 in scoring average across the league. The man's having himself a year. And it's to the point where I think he has earned a spot of fitting into the team's long-term plans. I know going into this season, everybody was saying that, well, who knows what the Bulls are going to do. New front office, new general manager. We know they like Patrick Williams. We know they like head coach Billy Donovan. But from there, it's anybody's game. The phrase for the players is, Patrick Williams, you should go ahead and buy yourself a property. Everybody else, you keep renting. Zach Lavine, it's time to buy. It's time to settle down. It's time to find a place for him. He's been up and down in his time with the Bulls since they acquired him as part of the Jimmy Butler trade to Minnesota. But now that the Bulls finally have an adult running things on the bench, we're starting to see this maturation process from Zach Lavine. Davidson chimes in. He's got to be an all-star this season. Yeah, it would be criminal if Zach Lavine wouldn't make the all-star team. We can talk about should there be an all-star game and an all-star team this year. My vote would be no, but that's a whole other separate discussion. But and hello Andrew as well. I see Andrew hopped into the chat. Yeah. Be safe there in Akron, Andrew. I know you guys are getting hit with the snow too. We got all kinds of parts of the country represented in the chat room tonight. I love it. California, Bama, Ohio. This is fantastic. But I know Lavine's been very up and down since coming to the Bulls, but he's finally showing some maturity. He's showing some leadership. He's showing that he belongs with this team going down the road. Next season is it for him as far as his current contract. I don't necessarily know what they'd be looking at money-wise to bring him back, if they need to do a deal right now to extend him or all that. That's the next step to take to figure out, do you sign him now? Do you play things out a little bit more, figure out how to make all that work? But Zach Lavine, it's time. On the flip side, Coby White. Coby White has been much more up and down. And I want to be fair to Coby here because he has been a trooper. He has been asked by Coach Donovan to basically play out of position, to be the point guard, to be the lead guard for the offense, and be the facilitator, not necessarily the scorer. And you can see out there that is not Coby White's instincts. He is a shooter. He is a very instinctive, natural shooter. He wants to be putting the ball in the hoop. And instead, he's being asked to read the floor and try to be the floor general out there. And it's not natural for him. And that's been he's been getting better at it, but he's still hesitant at times, taking an extra beat to decide, do I shoot or do I pass, and to whom do I pass? And you can tell that it's not natural for him. I did see where Coach Donovan is starting to take some of that off of his plate. They're going to give some more of that to Lavine and to Thomas Satoravsky to try to take some of that off Coby White's plate so that he can concentrate on shooting a little bit more. And I think for Coby White especially, that will benefit him. Will it benefit the team? That remains to be seen. They've got a game, actually they're tipping off basically right now down in Indianapolis tonight. We'll see how that plays out. I had thought I had heard that Wendell Carter, yes, indeed, Wendell Carter Jr. is back in the lineup tonight. There was some back and forth over whether or not he would be back in, but he's back. So you should see some things there. With the Bulls and Pacers playing tonight, I would expect the Pacers to win tonight. The Bulls are catching them at a good time. They've only won 4 out of their last 10. The Bulls have only won 3 out of their last 10. So we'll see how that goes. The Bulls are still on the outside looking in for a playoff spot as we're approaching the All-Star break. Might still be sellers when the trading time comes and things like that, things of that nature. But you're starting to see some good things with Lavine, and in spots, Coby White and some other guys, they need a point guard. That is apparent through this first opening part of the NBA season, that they need a point guard. They need somebody to be in charge out there right now. And they don't have that. It's a little disappointing because they've had some opportunities maybe in the last couple drafts to go and get a point guard, went some other directions. To me right now, that's the key for this team is they need to find themselves a point guard so that they can kind of start taking some of the next step in this. And Taryn chimes in the chat. Yeah, he got his revenge and beat me in fantasy basketball. Yeah, that was a close one. That was a lot closer than I would have liked it. I've been winning usually by a few hundred points. We use ESPN, which is basically it keeps tallies for an entire week, and you can sub guys in and out on the night depending on who's playing. And I've been winning fairly handily each night. Taryn snuck up and got me this week, so kudos to you, Taryn. We'll settle a score on that later, but that's not why you tuned in. You definitely did not want to hear about my fantasy basketball team. So, playing the Pacers tonight. Right now, it's back and forth late in the first quarter between the two. I would still expect the Pacers to pull this one out tonight. I don't know if the Bulls are going to be enough to sneak into the playoffs. Still, they still turn the ball over a ton. They still are a very young team that's just learning how to work together. But they've taken to Billy Donovan. The system, they're starting to get some things working. Zach Lavine is becoming a true star in this league, and it's excellent to see out on the West Side. So hopefully they can continue to grow and continue to take those next steps. They're not there yet, but it looks like the Bulls are on the right path. All right, we are going to take a quick break, and then let's warm up the conversation a little bit. Let's go out to the desert. Baseball spring training is starting later this week. Pitchers and catchers are getting ready to report. Let's take an early look at the Cubs and the White Sox. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome to the Soccer Scoreboard Show with your host, Gabriel Montoya. This is the show for soccer, football fans, or whatever you call the beautiful game. Every week, I tackle the latest and greatest news from around the soccer world. From the English Premier League, to the World Cup, to MLS, Liga MX, and more. You can listen to the Soccer Scoreboard Show and our lineup of fantastic guests every Friday at noon here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Everybody, this is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey guys, it's Blake Henley, better known as H-Town Blake to some of you. Happy to announce that Bases Loaded is back in full force. We'll be bringing that high heat every Tuesday night here on IU Sports Radio. So come home, get ready, dig into that batter's box, and see if you can chase that high heat, baby. So we'll be coming to you live with all the stats, all the rundowns, all the division rivalries, and every team that's going to make the playoff push to get to that one and only October and get to the pinnacle of what baseball is, to hoist that Commissioner's Trophy when it's all said and done.
And welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. So as we've talked, the weather outside is very frightful, and everybody please stay safe. It is gonna get bad overnight tonight, so please be safe and careful. But there are warmer times ahead. Spring training is right around the corner. So I wanted to take a quick early preview at both teams in town, the Northsiders and the Southsiders. Let's start on the North Side first. Let's take a look at the Cubs. This offseason, of course, has been one marred by subtractions. You've seen the departure of Kyle Schwarber, the departure of John Lester, the departure of good, popular, talented baseball players. Yu Darvish, guys that either were part of the World Series win in 2016 or were guys that you thought that might have enough in the tank to maybe push for another one. And there's still talk that Chris Bryant might get traded away. This time, the Mets seem like the most likely destinations. There's still those ugly things hanging over the head of the organization. Still a dark cloud hanging over this organization as we get ready for the start of baseball. But there was a little bit of a ray of light over the weekend. The Cubs brought back pitcher Jake Arrieta. Obviously, Arrieta was a huge part of the championship run in 2016. He had the amazing 2015 where he won the Cy Young. and just single-handedly pushed them through some games, saved the bullpen, all that kind of history. He's back. Obviously, not necessarily going to be expecting him to be what he was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but still a decent, respectable middle-of-the-rotation starter, which is something that the Cubs sorely, sorely need. They also recently added pitcher Trevor Williams, brought him over from Pittsburgh. So as we head into spring training, I feel like the biggest remaining questions, I mean, there's no doubt about it that the Cubs are trending backwards. They're going backwards a bit here. And some of that's by design, that they're kind of letting the rest of the division catch up to them a little bit. They're not necessarily trying to jump out there and grab this division by the horns. There now actually is a front runner in the National League Central. The Cardinals, thanks to making a late move, they actually are now looking a bit to be the favorites in this division. It's not going to take much to win the National League Central this year, I don't think. I think you're probably looking at about 85 wins. Should be enough to take this division. But the Cubs are clearly not trying to race out there and be a playoff team. The biggest questions, though, are still going to be in the rotation. Right now, what you're probably looking at for a starting rotation for the Cubs, no doubt about it, you're going to have Kyle Hendricks be the ace of the staff. The professor has earned it. He went out there and started an opening day last year. He had a fine 2020 season. There's no reason to think that he can't go out there and do that again. He's only 31 years old. He just turned 31. He's not been a big power guy, obviously, throughout his career, so he doesn't rely on that. He's a finesse location guy. Without question, he's going to be your ace. I would expect then that Jake Arrieta will slot into the number 2 spot. Then newly acquired Zach Davies, another guy that is probably not going to be, not a flamethrower by any means. He should be in the 3 spot. Then you're probably looking at Alec Mills somewhere in the 4, Trevor Williams maybe somewhere in there, Adbert Alzolay filling out the back end. I've heard a lot of baseball people say that you're going to need potentially 7 or 8 starters this year, coming off of last year's short season where they only played 60 games. Pitchers really didn't get stretched out kind of like they normally would. They're going to have a lot more pitchers on pitch counts this season. Expect that. So expect that you're going to see some different names start. The Cubs also have listed in their rotation now Tyson Miller and Braylon Marquez. We'll see what those guys add. They're significantly younger. I mean, Marquez only just turned 21. So, man, it's so weird looking at. He was born January 30th, 1999. That means he turned 22. Man, somebody born in 99 is 22. Man, sorry, I'm feeling old for a second. Sorry while I do that. So, you'll see some guys in there in the rotation. The bullpen, that's also going to be a giant question mark. It's been a question mark the last couple of years. They haven't really done anything to shore that up, to do anything for it. They still have Craig Kimbrell listed as the closer. They're not feeling good about that move anymore. We'll see what these guys can do in the bullpen, but certainly early in the season, you're going to feel like the bats are going to need to work to build up a cushion to help build some confidence for this bullpen. Along those lines, your most significant addition on offense would be Jacques Peterson. You know, the 24-year-old, excuse me, not 24. That's the jersey number he wears. He's going to be turning. He's going to be turning 29 here in a little bit. Comes over from the Dodgers. Lefty bat. He's the plan there is, the hope is that he's an upgrade from Kyle Schwarber. Maybe not necessarily with the bat, but certainly in the field that he's an upgrade there. Otherwise, you're basically looking at the same team last year, the same struggles and inconsistencies that we've seen in years past. Yeah, Terrence says, take good care of Jacques. Yeah, Jacques was a good signing. Jacques Peterson coming over from the Dodgers was a good signing for the Cubs. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kyle Schwarber was very much a fan favorite and a team favorite. It is sad to see him go out to D.C. to play for the Nationals, but Jacques Peterson is a very, very nice replacement piece, if you will. You know, a definite upgrade out in the field, and you're not losing anything with the bat. And hopefully he can give you some more contact, too, which is something that the Cubs have sorely lacked in their offense the last few years. But the big question marks for this club are just going to be, do you have any depth at all in your starting rotation? You know, before the Arrieta signing, it was like, man, they might only be going 2 deep in their pitching rotation. Now they might maybe be going 3 deep in a rotation, and when you might need 7 or 8 pitchers, that's not very deep. And then, of course, the bullpen. Just, do you have anything that you can trust in this bullpen? Those are the big things for the Cubs. Then down on the south side with the White Sox, some big additions in the offseason. They were significantly more active, bringing in pitcher Lance Lynn and Liam Hendricks. Huge additions there. And then the return of outfielder Adam Eaton on kind of an interesting move there, and then getting backup catcher Jonathan Lucroy. Lance Lynn is a huge, huge addition for the White Sox. He gives them a sorely needed third starter. That was, I mean, the biggest thing for the Sox last year. What prevented the White Sox from advancing past Oakland was the fact that they couldn't go 3 deep in their starting rotation. Now with Lance Lynn in there, you can go a little bit deeper. You don't have 7 or 8, but let's be honest, there's not really anybody in baseball that has 7 or 8 starters. But you now feel significantly better. You still got Giolito and Keuchel at the top. Lynn fits in very nicely into that 3 spot. And then you look at Dylan Cease or Reynaldo Lopez, or they brought back Carlos Rodon. What can those guys give you? Or the guy that I'm most interested to see as far as pitching is concerned is Michael Kopech. Kopech is coming off, he opted out of last year. He was going through some personal issues. He decided to opt out of the COVID season. He hasn't pitched for a couple of years because he needed Tommy John. When he did pitch, when he gave you that little bit of a teaser his first year, man, he could just chuck the baseball. He was touching 101, 102, plenty of speed coming out of that arm. It's going to be, I am interested to see what they've got with him. I'd love to see him in the rotation. I also wouldn't mind seeing Garrett Crochet fit into the rotation this year. It's sounding like from the team, their plan is that Crochet is going to start in the minors, but Kopech, in a perfect world, they'd like to have Kopech in the rotation in some way, form, or fashion. That's exciting. That's huge. And then, of course, to bring in Liam Hendricks, ironically enough, from Oakland, to hands down be the closer, to be the shutdown guy. yet another move by the Sox to indicate that, yes, they are in win now mode. They are going for it. They want to win this. The other big move that I didn't mention at the top, of course, is the new manager. Hall of Famer Tony La Russa comes down from being in the perch of working with front offices in MLB to manage for the White Sox. I've talked about this move at length already. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's a gigantic mistake, but we will see what it does. It certainly is an unconventional move. We'll see how well his old school methods line up with the new school kids that the White Sox have. Guys like Tim Anderson and Eloy Jimenez and just some of the different guys on the team. We'll see how this all adds up. Looking through the roster as a whole for the White Sox, man, it's hard to see any big glaring holes out there. Adam Eaton, while he had an interesting relationship with the team his first go-around, he wound up he definitely wasn't the most popular guy in the clubhouse, I'll say it that way. They weren't exactly shedding tears when he got traded out to Washington. But he can still give you some good play out there in right field. They have him slotted in as the starting right fielder. That was one of their few kind of troublesome spots last season. He should help solidify that spot a little bit. Eloy Jimenez, we'll see what Eloy can do if he's progressed at all as a fielder. If he can add a little bit of defense to his game and not just rely on Luis Robert just covering almost the entire outfield by himself. Not that Robert can't do that, but if they can give him a little bit of help, that would be good. The White Sox, I expect to see some good things from them this season. I fully anticipate. I know the PECOTA projections came out and they weren't too high on the White Sox. I am high on the White Sox. I fully expect the Sox to take the Central and absolutely be in contention for the American League pennant. I honestly expect them to win the American League pennant. We'll talk about that as we get closer to the start of baseball, which opening day is going to be April 1st. They did hammer out some new agreements that have been hammered out for the league this year. Some things from last year that held over. We will continue to see 7-inning doubleheaders this season, just like last season. If they have to do a doubleheader, then the two games will be 7 innings instead of 9. The players really like that move. I think that's a really good move. I like it as well. We aren't going to see a universal designated hitter though, and that's it's funny because I think both the players like it and ownership likes it, but ultimately they decided not to do it for this year. All right, these two sides they don't like each other, so they got to disagree sometimes. But they are planning on playing a full season. We will see what comes of it. Taryn asks, the Cubs can have a deep playoff run and maybe win the NL Central if... Win the NL Central? They can win the NL Central... Basically, if the Nolan Arenado move by the Cardinals doesn't pan out, there's no reason that they won't be in contention for the division then. Because, frankly, nobody else in the division is really any good. All 5 teams in the NL Central are actively trying to lose this season, to put not too fine a point on it. I've talked at length about how MLB has a tanking problem. You have everybody in the National League Central actively trying to lose, with the exception of the Cardinals. And they are only trying to win because they were able to get Arenado for just so cheap from Colorado. So the Cubs can win the Central, frankly, if that move doesn't pan out and just their bats come alive and their bullpen pitches well, a deep playoff run, no, they're not making a deep. They'll have a fighting chance at a deep. They'll have a fighting chance at a deep playoff run because they have some veteran pitchers at the top end of the rotation. Hendrickson's been there before. Arrieta's been there before. Zach Davies has been a major league pitcher for a nice long while. Trevor Williams has a few years under his belt, but he's not much in the postseason. So they'd make a deep playoff run if they're able to rely on veteran starting pitching. But I would not expect any kind of a deep postseason run from the Cubs. Frankly, I don't expect them to make the postseason this season for the Cubs. I think the White Sox will make a very deep run, but they'll be the only ones in Chicago making a run. All right, we're going to take one more quick break, and then let's talk some hockey. The Blackhawks just keep overproducing. Let's talk about it a little bit. This is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Back in a minute.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Lava.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Welcome in to the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and you're listening to IE Sports Radio. If you like big, nasty hits, if you like slap shots straight to the neck, if you like it when the gloves hit the ice and the big boys get down, then this is your show. On IE Sports Radio, this is the Neutral Zone. May our shots on goal always be true and straight to the net. If they are not, may they be followed up, redirected, or change collected. Let's go on IE Sports Radio with me, your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and this is the Neutral Zone.
Hi everybody, it's Calvin here from USRN, here to give you an important message. Since 2017, we have done our absolute best to provide you with nothing but the highest quality of sports calls in the greatest of quantity possible. Thanks to you, our station has grown more than we ever thought. That's why, with your help, we would like to grow even further. Just think, twice the amount of your favorite calls, 24 hours of coverage, talk shows, play-by-play, game-by-game analysis, and so much more. That's right, USRN2 is officially in development, but we can't do it alone. We have set up a GoFundMe page that you can access from our homepage on the left of your screen. We also are planning special giveaways and prizes to our highest donors. Our goal here at USRN is to bring you the best calls possible at no cost to you. In order to continue to do that, we need your help now. Please check out our GoFundMe page, and if you would like to know how you can help, you can email usrnradio@gmail.com. Without your support, we couldn't do what we do.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back in here to Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio. Want to give one more quick read to all of our sponsors this week. Legacy Financial. Last year was a tough year. However, staying positive, keeping your faith, and continuing to work hard is the goal. If you're in a financial struggle at the moment and you need some help, or if you're doing well and you want to get to the next level, either way, give them a call. Also, if you're looking for a new opportunity to work for yourself and earn more money part-time, give them a call. Call AO at 510-928-2104 to book your appointment today. Andrew and AO are just two people on a mission to help families build a legacy. Follow them on Twitter at legacy_uncut and on Instagram at sims_uncut. Mom is always right media. Are you feeling overwhelmed with schoolwork? Those essays keeping you up at night? Don't lose sleep, just pick up the phone. Mom is Always Right Writing Agency will give you quality essays, and we always make our deadlines. Sleep soundly knowing we are on the job. For more information, call 626-653-3649. It Goes Down in the PM. Make sure you check out the new episode of It Goes Down in the PM brought to you by Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. Coffee After Dark. Don't miss the next chapter of your favorite love story. Check out the Season 2 premiere of Coffee After Dark, brought to you by Mom is Always Right Media, where we help you open your business from start to finish. And finally, the Sports Rundown. Are you a sports fan but have too much going on in your life these days to keep up with the 24/7 sports news cycle? Or maybe you are new to sports and want to understand the nuances better. If so, then the Sports Rundown is for you. We are a new podcast that gives you basic professional and collegiate sports news, stats, tidbits, and fun facts by the time you get to work, start that second cup of coffee, or finish walking the dog. Enough information to make you dangerous while talking about current sporting events, and we will teach you something fun along the way, like about mascots, uniforms, history, feel-good stories, and sports rules. We even cover the Premier League. New episodes drop Monday and Friday mornings, so come give us a listen. You follow them on Twitter then you follow us on Twitter at IE Sports Radio, or Instagram at IE Sports Radio, Facebook, search IE Sports Radio, and our website is iesportsradio.com. Thank you again to all of our sponsors for your continued support. We really do appreciate it. All right. Before we get out of here tonight, I wanted to talk some Blackhawks with you. The Hawks, they just continue to keep overproducing and winning. They're now 7-5-4 on the season. They are right there in the playoff hunt. They are tied with the Columbus Blue Jackets for the final spot in the playoffs. And the puck has dropped in Detroit already. They're playing the Red Wings tonight, and they've already scored. Matthias Janmark got his 6th goal of the season, so Hawks up 1-0. Good start there. Score update over down in Indy, too. The Bulls are leading the Pacers 38-36. They're closing in on halftime there. So what has been going on? Oh, and it appears that Malcolm Subban is in net tonight for the Hawks. A little bit of a surprise there. He hasn't started for a few games, but they're giving him a chance tonight out in Detroit. So what has been going on for the Hawks to get them where they are right now in the season? Well, a big part of it has been the return of Alex DeBrincat off of the COVID list, and that top line of DeBrincat, Suter, and Patrick Kane. They're really, really starting to gel and work together. Friend of the program, Ben Pope, who covers the Blackhawks for the Chicago Sun-Times, did a nice piece on the three of them recently, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Since coming back off of the COVID list back on February 2nd, DeBrincat has 11 points, 6 goals, and 5 assists. He had the game winner against Columbus in overtime over the weekend. You're starting to see the Hawks win in overtime, win some close games, and even win on the road. They won a couple of games in Dallas back-to-back. They're just starting to put things together. DeBrincat talked about, and this was part of the piece that Ben Pope did, DeBrincat talked about how he's feeling more comfortable playing with Patrick Kane, that it took him a little while. At first, he just wanted to always defer to Kane, but now he's starting to feel comfortable feeding the puck, but also shooting the puck and just being a willing and ready and able scorer, and that's helped his play significantly. Suter, this is his first year in the NHL. He played overseas for several years, just like Dominique Kubalik did last year, and Suter is starting to work well in between those two scorers and find his role on that line. And Patrick Kane just continues to be Patrick Kane. He is the top scorer in all the teams in the U.S. The only scorer, there are 3 or 4 guys ahead of him in the overall league lead, but they're all on the Canadian teams. They're all in which, again, the way the divisions were rearranged this year, the Canadian teams in the regular season are only playing Canadian teams. So down here in the States, Patrick Kane is the top guy, is the top scorer. 22 points so far through 16 games. 7 goals already. The other big part is some of the lasting veterans are buying in to Jeremy Colleton's system. I heard on the radio earlier this week, Jay Zawoski, he covers the Blackhawks for The Score. He also does his own podcast where he covers the Blackhawks. He talked about how you're finally seeing everybody. Duncan Keith in particular was the veteran that he singled out, but you're finally seeing everybody kind of just realize that, hey, Colleton is here to stay, that it's his way or the highway, and they're buying in and they're realizing that it can work. If we, yes, it's different from what was going on in the old system with Coach Q, but that doesn't automatically make it bad. And they're playing within it, and it's holding up. I had my questions on how long they can actually maintain it. So far this season, they've played 2 games each against the Lightning and the Panthers, the top 2 teams in the division. They're going to play, so they've got a lot more games. They've got 12 more games against those 2. It's going to be 12 of their final 32 games are going to be against Tampa Bay and Florida, who are clearly going to be the cream of the crop in this. Tampa, certainly. I mean, the defending champs are definitely going to be the cream of the crop in this division. So some of their record might be a little bit of a mirage, might be from playing against some of the weaker teams like Dallas, like Columbus, like Detroit tonight. They haven't done much winning on the road yet. They finally won a couple of road games, but they were both in Dallas. That's the only road site they've won at yet. Now, they're already up early here in Detroit tonight, and then they're going to play Detroit again on Wednesday night. So we'll see, maybe they can add another city. And they're on a little bit of a long road trip here. Their next 6 games are on the road. I mentioned Detroit. Then they're going to be in Carolina this weekend. That'll be a big proving series for them. Back-to-back nights, Friday and Saturday in Carolina. And then they play in Columbus early next week before coming home finally. So they've got some work to do to prove that they belong, but for right now, they are right there in the mix. They are surpassing expectations, and it makes it fun to keep up with them. All right, that is what I have got for tonight's show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Taryn, for hanging out in the chat. You can hear him tomorrow when he does Set Point, his fantastic volleyball show that he does. He'll be doing that tomorrow at 7 o'clock Central Time. Thank you to Marcus hopping into the chat. He will be hosting Gloves Off tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Thank you to Andrew. Andrew hosts a couple different shows on the station. He will be doing the state of Ohio on Friday evening. He does that at 5 o'clock Central. And then he also does Soccer Scoreboard Show at 4:30 on Sundays. Thank you, Davidson. He's one of the hosts of our basketball show, Fast Break, here at 7 o'clock on Sundays. And just thank you guys so much for listening and taking time out of your day. I hope we had some fun. I hope that you maybe learned a little bit about it. But stay safe, stay healthy, stay warm this week. Be careful in the snow, and then we will talk to everybody next week. I am it tonight for IE Sports Radio. So no other shows tonight, but check out all the shows we've got going on tomorrow and all throughout the week. There's always something good to listen to here on IE Sports Radio. You guys stay safe and stay warm. We'll talk next week.